What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for joining me on another episode of Tony's Open Road podcast on the Tony's Journey YouTube channel. I want to come on here and tell you all about one of the funnest, most fulfilling rides that I've ever done as an Uber and Lyft driver. And I've been driving, y'all, doing Uber and Lyft for about 10 years now. Over 6,000 rides. So the other night I had picked up some passengers. It was showing a $15 ride, pick it up at a Mexican restaurant. So I showed up and I waited a minute or two. You know, Uber really doesn't pay us a whole lot for wait time, so normally I cancel after a minute or so. I don't wait too long. But I called, couldn't get a hold of nobody. Texted. The guy texted me back, said we'll be right out. And lo and behold, a guy came out. Him and he's with a female. Ended up being his wife. He said, "I am really sorry." He's like, my dad is. He's walking with a cane. He's in his 80s. He's got a lot of medical issues. He said, "Just please be patient." I said, "Yeah, I do my best. You know, I got to keep moving though to make money and stuff." So he said he would tell him, try to hurry up as best as he could. So he finally got out there. It was an older gentleman in his 80s. Another older gentleman, probably in his 70s or 80s as well. They had a couple grandkids, actually. The gentleman and his wife, two of their grandkids. They was all wild and all excited and full of energy. Then the guy got in, the grandkids got in, and the two older gentlemen got in the vehicle, my van. And his son gave me a $20. He's like, "Man, here you go. So I appreciate you waiting, man. Appreciate the patience. Here's $20. He gave me a $20 bill." So then the guy had told the grandpa actually told his son. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take these kids. I'm gonna get them loaded up on a bunch of chocolate." He's like, "They ain't gonna sleep tonight. They gonna disrupt school tomorrow." And like, I was like, "Oh no!" So they kind of laughed about it and got in. And he's like, so he told me his name. He said, "My name's such and such. I'm not gonna reveal that for purpose of privacy." But he said, "Yeah, I live out in California." He said, "This is my former friend, colleague. We used to work at Disney World. We worked at Disney World for a long time." I said, "Wow, that's fun." He said they really enjoyed a lot of years over there. And then they got to talking and just wild stuff. Like the guys told me, he's like, "I was in prison, out in Folsom Prison for a while," and then his friend that was with him, that's what the grandpa said, his friend with him said, "Yeah, he was there." Then they started going back and forth, pointing at each other. One guy's like, "No, he was in prison." He's like, "I wasn't in prison. He was in prison for a couple years." I'm like, "Oh God!" So you never know what to believe, you know, with passengers, if they're being telling the truth or not, right? I figured he was probably joking, to be honest, but you don't ever know. But he said, anyway, he's like, "I'm going to take real good care of you. I'm going to give you a good tip." He's like, "Can you just take us to, like, get these kids some chocolate?" I'm like, and it was like 11:30 at night, y'all. And I said, "Okay." I said, "We can do it." I said, "The only options right now out here that's really open that I can think of, we go to McDonald's, get a milkshake, or maybe a brownie or pie or something like that." I said, "We can do Wendy's." And you know what? Let's do Wendy's. And I didn't think of, we have an Insomnia cookies out here now. I should have thought about maybe going over there, but instead we went to Wendy's and drive through. I normally don't do stops, by the way, on Uber, just because they don't pay enough on Uber. Lyft, I do stops. They pay enough. So, but on the weekends, I really try to avoid stops, even on the weekends, just because you make more on that per mile run on doing the rides, and especially surge prices make a whole lot more money than doing stops. But normally I'll do stops during the week on Lyft. I don't never do stops on Uber, though. Unless they pay me. Or the guy, he's like, "Man, I'm going to take care of you. I mean, you're going to get a real big tip." And I was like, "So let's do it," right? So he offered to buy me. They ended up getting 4 large, and I mean big old Oreo cookie Frosties. Shakes, whatever you call them. I think at Wendy's, I think they're Frosties. But he's like, "You want one? I'll buy you one." I was like, No. He's like, man, you're too uptight, man. You need to have some fun and get you one. And I'm like, nah, dude. I said, I'm trying to get into bed. You know, I'm a health coach. I do that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, every now and then I'll have a cheat. I said, but I prefer not to tonight. And kind of told me, he's like, man, you need to live life. Because I'm in my 80s. He says, I don't have a whole lot of time left. When I get my age, man, you just let everything go and enjoy life. And I said, oh, interesting points there. You know, the other guy, the other older gentleman said, yeah, he's like, man, I live life to the fullest. He's like, I just lost my wife a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, it's been a really, I was married 48 years, a really challenging situation. But anyway, getting back to the Frosties. Got everybody the Frosties. They got Frosties too. The two guys got Frosties. And the two kids got Frosties for the two kids. So so I dropped the kids off first, took them to their house. And parents came out. Dad come out, he had a guitar around his neck, and I guess he was going to probably stay up a little later, do all that good stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're going to be mad at me. I got them some, the grandpa was saying this to the dad and the mom, I got them all jacked up on chocolate now. They're going to be up all night. They just kind of laughed it off. It was just a fun time. Right? They wasn't really mad at him, not upset with him. He said, I only come to town really once a year from California. He said, when I do, he said, we go all out. Have a lot of fun. So that was that. Next thing you know, I get going down the road, and the two older gentlemen was like, he was talking to each other. They was calling each other sweetie. Like, hey, sweetie, we're gonna be home shortly, and like we're getting there. And I'm like, oh God, what's going on? I still don't know, right? If they was playing or not. It's hard to tell. Sometimes it's hard to tell if people are serious or they're joking. They got out. He said, man, I want to make sure I get you a $50 tip. And the ride ended up paying me $20 from his son. And he gave me a $50 tip, y'all. Literally, we ended the ride. I helped him do it on his phone. He needed some help with it, but we finally got it figured out. And he tell me, he's like, I'll see you later, baby. Talking to me, y'all. So I was like, okay, y'all have a good night. Have fun. I said, sound like y'all going to have a lot of fun. I said, y'all stay out of trouble. And that was pretty much it, y'all. So who knows, right? Joking, not joking. I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, to me, I guess it really don't matter. A whole lot of me. Heck, the guy gave me a $50 tip, right? I just kind of went along with it. Just roll with it, and it's fun. So, but y'all take care. If y'all enjoyed this podcast, and you're new here, be sure to subscribe to this channel for future video updates and podcast episodes. If you like this, thought it was funny like I did, be sure to share it with your friends and family. Y'all take care. God bless. Look forward to seeing y'all in another episode. Bye for now.